Good evening, ladies and
Beware
gentlemen.
America.
Good evening. Don't beware. Be ready, America. Be ready for whatever comes your way, because this country is facing obstacles that we've never faced before. A country that has an NSA that seems to be running rimshot over our personal freedoms and privacy. It's taking a toll on all of us who are formerly Democrats, formerly Republicans, and it's making all of us think maybe we've got a problem here. Maybe we need a third party. Welcome to Wasteful Wednesday, where we talk about all the government waste going on and how we can trim that waste if we create a third party. Now, there's pork out there in the pork barrel spending, lots of fat in our budget, and we've got interruptions coming in our show on occasion, which happen, which is partly normal for our show. We cannot possibly do our show in some sort of a vacuum. So we essentially react and deal with all kinds of things on a daily basis at 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. You can watch this show and interact and become part of what I believe is the model of an organic grassroots movement evolving right before your very eyes. We are in an online revolution, everybody. And this whole concept is going to span the next 3 years, and we're going to see all kinds of, we are seeing all kinds of changes that are going on that I don't think any of us bargained for, even the ones that voted for Barack Obama. Remember when Obama said, well, make no mistake about it, it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. Well, I would rather hear another president talk about what's really going on, and I'd like to think that that president is none other than Jimmy Carter. That's right. Jimmy Carter is the one who probably should be talking. He actually came out publicly talking about what's going on in our country and how the NSA is overseeing things. Jimmy Carter made a statement in the German press, but it never got filtered into the media here in America. But that statement essentially states categorically that we have a problem with democracy. This is exactly what I've been saying for some time, that we are not necessarily going to get accountability from the NSA unless we get our democracy going. And obviously democracy has failed, and that's essentially what Jimmy Carter said in the interview. So if we as a nation just continue to sit back and watch it all happen, this is what's going to happen. The Zimmerman acquittal is going to lead to whatever attempt they have to change the dimension of this country. What's going on is racial conflict. Now, let's look at the spin that's going on in the news right now. There's spin happening right before our very eyes. Let's take a look at it. Well, there's Al Sharpton and his new girlfriend. I don't really want to focus on that. I wonder why she's hanging out with him. Anyway, let's talk about what's really happening. Somebody from the new Black Panther movement is making statements, tweeting that he wants to retaliate. He says, you want freedom, you must go out and kill some bleep, bleep, bleep. And we know what he's referring to. This could be a planted story. It could be a real guy. It could even be somebody in the CIA who got real creative with his ideas to trigger a race war in America. Here's another story that came out of a mob looting a Walmart, beating people in the name of Trayvon. These stories are generating all over the blogosphere. And then we've got people like Jay Carney making statements that he's telling one of the people in the audience, you know, the spokesperson for Barack Obama, he's telling one of the people that we shouldn't give Zimmerman's family protection. Check this out.
Received by George Zimmerman and his parents. Is the president going to take any action for their security, or are they on their own?
Well, I think that would create a Florida authorities. I'm not aware of that story. But the president has called for echoing the statements of
put on a hoodie and head up to 7-Eleven
for calm reflection in the wake of the verdict. And that continues to be his position. He certainly would oppose any violence of any kind.
So he opposes violence.
You can editorialize all you want, and I have no doubt that you will, but that is a ridiculous statement. Olivia.
Jay, a couple on Syria.
All right, so he just dispensed with this young man's concern for Trayvon, or for George Zimmerman's family members. So obviously the president wants to remain detached from this subject. he wants to take a back seat to this entire affair. So what Jimmy Carter is talking about really should be front, forward, center in American politics. But here's a former president literally getting ignored. Ignored for what? He's making a very important statement. We need to get this control over the NSA's monitoring of our daily lives. Well, that's not going to happen under the Democrats or the Republicans. Clearly, we need a different angle. And I would recommend an ombudsman, somebody who could actually step in the way between the NSA.
Please, Sponheim, it's time to dance with the devil.
Wow, somebody's got problems. Well, you know, I'm not sure who that was other than my stalker, so we let him into the show for just that one little clip.
Yeah, I think he's smoking.
I think he is. I think that stalker is smoking. We're trying to limit his activity at our show, but sometimes his voice slips in.
I think Carl's a big faggot.
Oh, that's terrible. You see, I gotta cut this down. Apparently he comes into our chat room, which is going on in our video chat room. Anything creative, I know. He is. I know. No humor at all, Carl. I know, no humor at all, Carl. It's sick. We've got a sicko in the house, folks. Anyway, if we don't get accountability... Right. I did mute the tiny chat. Thank you. Well, I'm listening to it in my ear, so you can't hear it on the recorded video. So sorry you had to endure that, folks. But that's the kind of thing we put up with on a nightly basis. We are doing an interactive show, and we'll show you that obviously we care about... This is so sick. It's just like, I don't... Even Edward is like... I don't even know what to do. But this is what Wacky Wednesday is all about. Yeah, I was Wasteful Wednesday, but it's getting wackier every second. All right, back to you. We've got people over in our video chat room that are listening in or talking to me through my ear. I'm not bringing them into the main chat because, frankly, we don't need that kind of interference. Go ahead, Carl. I'm listening. What's wacky to you? Our government is spending out $72 billion a year for Department of Homeland Security. $95 billion a year for the IRS. Does anyone see a problem here? We've got a group of people paid $95 billion to charge us more money. I mean, this is serious, man. This is real serious. So let's figure out a way in which we can stop this incredible, wasteful government of ours, okay? We need to change from within, create new politicians to get honesty back into politics. Okay, somebody blasted Holder for attacking the Stand Your Ground law? Who was that? Because I was blasting Holder for attacking the Stand Your Ground law too. Yeah, I don't believe that this is the time to take down a law at a state level that's important. Right. Yes. The NRA was blasting Holder. Well, good for them. I was blasting Holder too for that. My concern is that some people have problems with a stalking behavior in our room, and we have to deal with that. My concern is that Eric Holder is missing the point. The 10th Amendment clearly gives Florida the right to make decisions about their own state issues regarding Stand Your Ground. Similarly, if a state like South Dakota wanted to pass an abortion law saying women have to be 16 years old in order to to actually be receiving an abortion in South Dakota, and their parents need to be informed, that's something that's okay. That still comes under the purview of the 10th Amendment. Similarly, states have capital punishment laws, and some states do not have capital punishment laws. So, I'm getting a little feedback from you, Awesome Carl, so bear in mind, you may want to trim that. But that's a state issue. It's a 10th Amendment issue. So Eric Holder, clearly, our Attorney General doesn't even understand the Constitution. This is how off he is. So I applaud the NRA for doing that. I myself am not an NRA member. Similarly, I'm not a pro-life member, but I do support a woman's choice. And I also would rather she didn't have an abortion. I would rather she did not have an abortion. But personally, I think it's a woman's choice. But I'm not a pro-lifer per se. So that's something that, a lot of us have to decide. Now, bear in mind, we have a fast trigger finger to get rid of any trolls that come into our Chinese chat room. And I'm getting better and better at knocking them off. So it's like a fast trigger finger thing. I'm using this as like a video game. Yeah, exactly. So we'll do everything we can to fix this. Apparently they want me to upgrade at Tinychat. Maybe that'll give me more control. Who knows? Okay. Obviously, you're watching this in archive and you're wondering, well, what is Wasteful Wednesday all about? I just threw out the numbers: $95 billion for the IRS, $72 billion for the Department of Homeland Security per year. But did you know that the Democrats haven't even come up with a budget in 4 years? And we've got people still thinking that we've got answers to our problems with Obama. You got people out there, Obama-tards. I know it sounds offensive, but I'm trying to be nice. I mean, that's a nice way to describe these people. They're just hopelessly driving down the freeway with their Obama 2012 stickers going, I still support him. Give him 4 more years and golly, we'll have some solutions. Ooh. That's the kind of person that you're going to see carjacked in the next couple of years because of Obama. All right? So if you people have Obama 2012 stickers on your bumper sticker, it's time to pull them off. Somebody said Obama-tards get money from Satan. Woo! Wow. Sounds like church lady. Well, this is a dynamic political forum, and as you know, I am not afraid to have fun and enjoy our show. That's why we do this, by the way. If we didn't have fun, we wouldn't be enjoying ourselves. And if we weren't enjoying ourselves, we wouldn't be having fun, would we now? Now have some fun. That's an order. You understand? I'm sorry. I'm kidding. There are no Sponheim tards. Anyone who supports me is automatically more intelligent by 20 IQ points, simply for supporting me. I award you 20 extra IQ points, all of you, simply for coming into our show. Congratulations. Do you feel smarter? Well, you should. I would never endorse anything like NAMBLA. That's terrible. The Man Love Boy Association is an atrocity. I'm against all of that. And if we could do something to stop them from meeting in the libraries with people like Rodney, that'd be great. Yeah. We got a lot of people being stalked by that person too, and I want to warn all of you that when you're sitting there in the comfort of your own home, be aware that people are probably thinking of bad things about you, especially if you're a supporter of our show. So you take a risk just supporting this show, and I want you to know that it's not easy when somebody like Edward, who's in public place, a McDee's somewhere at a Wi-Fi spot, or wherever you are, Edward, don't tell anybody. You are potentially at risk. I do not support legalization of crack or coke, but we do support legalization of weed, marijuana. We've got people that do not allow this type of behavior, and they're called Westboro Baptist Church members. We're not affiliated with the Westboro Baptist Church. But this is a social issue night as well, and we do talk about social issues on a nightly basis. Aside from dealing with attacks on our room on a nightly basis, we also talk about the importance of, we talked about choice earlier, pro-choice. Do you know that since Roe v. Wade was passed, this is a shocker, there have been 44 million dead fetuses. 44 million dead fetuses. Yes, these were children that could have been geniuses. Yes, they could have been smart little people, all dead. But then someone told me, Sarah told me that, did you know that since Roe v. Wade was passed, the crime rate is down 17%? I've seen stats to verify this. Yeah, it's true. So with 44 million less people, we have less crime. Well, that stands to reason, doesn't it? Yeah, well, I don't think it's okay for women to have abortions simply because I think it's the wrong thing to do. But I'm not going to tell a woman what to do. It's pro-choice, you understand? Women decide if they want to murder their babies. All right, that's the deal. We've got to take care of one ban right now. I think we'll do that right now. Please don't spam in our room. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, we do banning on occasion, folks. It's part of the process of keeping a clean room. Yeah. Somebody asked me earlier, David, are you a nationalist? Actually, no, I'm patriotic, but I'm not some nationalist. I'm not some sort of a Nazi. No. I mean, I think Obama is more of a Nazi than I would ever be. And the fact of the matter is, I don't support National Socialism. Obama's plan for our country seems to be exactly what Hitler put together in Germany in the 1920s and 30s. Yeah, National Socialism. When they hijacked the corporate structure, they basically use the government to help big corporations. Corporations then own the instrument of government, and all of it comes under the heading of dominating the economy. Well, certain people on Wall Street control our economy. Am I right? No, I'm not claiming it's just Jewish people. Certain people control our economy. That alone makes you suspicious that this is no longer an Adam Smith laissez-faire capitalist economy. This has turned into a socialist communist nightmare. We now have too big to fail companies like Citigroup claiming they're doing much better. Well, they're doing much better because they've gotten every single benefit from knowing Barack Obama. And I wouldn't doubt he's suckling on their corporate teat right now as we speak. Well, make no mistake about it. I've got a meeting with the CEO of Citigroup, and then Reggie Love will be coming into my boudoir as my body man. I mean, I can just hear this guy. He's in bed with Citigroup, Goldman Sachs, and, well, I don't know if he's in bed with Reggie Love. That's just an accusation I can't make. Somebody said David dyes his hair green. Just look at him. Does this look like green hair to you? I'm sorry, but I'm seeing blonde hair. I don't know, but I don't believe we can possibly allow anything like green hair on our show. I'm flagging you. Yes, I'm going to flag you for saying the bad word green hair. It's not an appropriate word to make. That's right. And I have great hair, thank you. And I work very hard at having green hair because I put algae on my head to keep my hair from getting gray. I use all natural algae products on my head. What are you saying? Let's get real here. Okay, so say we have a robust system of adoption, not leaning on foster care and turning foster care into some free-for-all for perverts and pedophiles, but rather having a robust orphanage system. We're talking high-tech here. We're talking every kid in their own cubicle, motion detectors to make sure there's only one kid per cubicle. We don't want multiple kids in the cubicles because that could lead to trouble. And every single open area would be videotaped and monitored. That would be safer for children, don't you think? Than farming them out to some pedophile foster care person. No, I told you I use green algae on my head. I told you that. How many times do I have to tell you that? You know, when I'm funnier than the people trolling our show, you know we got a problem. Let's ask bigger questions, okay? Thank you. Luckily, folks, you cannot hear all this crap that comes into our show. Go ahead. I know. I can't do that because Sarah won't let me make anybody a moderator. She said,
I'll come in to moderate.
no, you don't have to moderate. It's okay. I got the whole thing under control, Sarah. We're finishing up a broadcast here. We're fine.
Tell me when you're ready.
You want to come in and talk about social issues, we can. If you're off your break, you can. Sarah would love to make an appearance. Sarah, I'd like all of you who are watching the show in archive to come in here. That's the troll that we keep talking about. What was that, Carl? What can I ask her? I'm listening. Sarah will not make mods. You can talk to her directly about that,
No.
Carl. No.
Not gonna
The
happen.
answer is no. The answer is no, Carl. Yeah. We went through all kinds of... We had all kinds of things. We had trolls back in the Blog TV days when we did this.
I don't even know how to make a troll, how to make a mod and Tinychat even if
We've
I
done,
wanted to.
even if we wanted to, we're not going to make mods. Bottom line is we're in our 1415th show, okay? We've got experience, folks. I can bring chat up anytime and show you what's going on.
I mean, if you
Let me
wanna
give you
do
guys
it
a
in
sample.
Tinychat, sure, but I don't think I can even.
Well, it might be helpful for Tinychat. Carl could be knocking that person off. Yep, he was, yeah. This is what's going on, folks. We've got a live video chat encounter with various people from around the world talking to us from their video cams, and I'm listening to them in my earpiece. That's what our open topic show is all about. So if you want to interact, come to our show at 6 o'clock Pacific time every night, and you can see our show by going to americasthirdparty.com, and you can just click on that link to chat. We'll be there. Go to the video chat button. It'll be live. But as you can see...
What will you do about the water in this country? There's a new type of fluoride being used. Europe has been using ozone to purify water for 20 years. I'm glad you asked that question to call 3000 because David is very concerned about fluoride in our water system, and David wants to remove all the fluoride from all municipalities.
Yeah.
He actually would like to make it so that fluoride cannot be used.
Yeah. We will make it so fluoride will not be allowed in any public facility that manages municipal water. And we will have people that will do everything possible to eliminate the threat of fluoride contamination. The reason being, fluoride causes neurological disorders. And the government's been pretty much hiding that fact from the American people. Fluoride lowers your brain cell activity. So you walk around in a stupor, complacent. I must remind you that Adolf Hitler used fluoride against the German people to make them complacent when he killed the ethnic minorities in Germany in the 1930s and early 40s. We know that this is a technique they use. So being it's being used again in America, that's one of the first things I'm going to do is pull fluoride out of municipal water supplies. Meow TV's in. Hi there, Meow TV. And I want to thank all of you for participating in the show. It's not always easy to encounter resistance, but we encounter it on a nightly basis. And there are people that are attacking our show on a nightly basis, and we believe that they're probably getting paid for it. They couldn't possibly be that messed up unless they are stalking Sarah, which is the other theory. Sarah and I were running that theory by why we're so constantly attacked by certain people. We believe that they are either working for the government or they're possibly just stalkers. Okay, good. Thank you for posting that. So we've got a lot of zombies walking around in Philly, Jack's party room said. Zombies in Philly. Yeah, I know. Well, whenever you encounter people walking around in a stupor with glassy eyes, they're on fluoride, folks. So I should stand up. And we are standing up for people that drink clear, clean water that protect you from all the dangers. Now, what about fracking going on in our country? That's seriously affecting people's water taps. I saw one guy light fire to his water tap on YouTube. Did you see that? Chupacabra says they're actually messed up in reality. Yeah, exactly. Well, we got people that just can't take no for an answer, that's for sure. All right, so we've discussed a lot of issues tonight. We're trying to round out a broadcast of 30 minutes if we can, get close to it. What other social issues are important to all of you? Capital punishment. I want to give you our take on capital punishment. I support capital punishment on the federal level as long as there's absolute genetic evidence verifying that person, whoever it is, committed a crime. That much I do support. So federal level capital punishment will be moving forward. We do believe that people should be given one appeal. And if it was limited to one appeal, we would save a lot of money on the court cases. And whenever you hear a person who's a really, really liberal person, because I was a liberal person, I'm not really liberal, especially if I endorse capital punishment, but they used to say, oh, it's more costly to kill a person because of the court costs and all the appeals. No, actually, it's a lot cheaper. The average person on death row charges close to $55,000 per year to warehouse somebody on death row. Over a 20-year lifespan, I'm talking over $1 million. Sure. Go ahead, Carl. Yeah. 10 million? Really?
Lifetime for 20 years to house those guys.
10 million for a
including
whole
their
lifetime?
appeals
Really?
and other things.
Huh. Well, I'm looking at the numbers. You might be right because the infrastructure costs are rather large. I agree. You know, there's a place here off the Tacoma, Washington area called McNeil Island. And McNeil Island is a warehouse for people who have committed sexual molestation against individuals, minors, rapists, etc. And McNeil Island is costing a huge amount. Huge. They employ 1,200 people to run a prison that warehouses 250 people. 1,200 people to warehouse 250 people. The net cost per inmate is essentially $185,000 a year, just to warehouse child molesters at McNeil Island. So we've got a problem here. This is a real serious problem. So if a lot of you are concerned about the end result of overspending and wasteful Wednesday, then clearly you need to understand that that's not going to, it could benefit our country long
I
term.
think that might be fluoridated chupacabra.
Yeah.
You should check that because some water that is, supposedly filtered is still actually fluoridated.
Okay, if you are hearing a person in the other room, it's probably a stalker. So don't just disregard anybody who comes into our room with nonsensical things to say. They're just stalkers. Yeah, ignore that. Okay, moving on. Other social issues that the states have control over. How about the stand your ground law, since that's still topical discussion of the night?
No, Carl.
Stand your ground is a state issue.
Oh, I see.
Now, in our state, Sarah, we've got the castle law. In the state of Washington, we have the castle law, and if a person is in their own castle, they stand their ground, they can protect themselves with a deadly weapon if they're trapped and definitely in imminent danger. But the stand your ground law in Florida doesn't specify that the person who's offending another person who is using a stand your ground law doesn't necessarily have to have an arm or a firearm for that person to use the stand your ground law. So apparently George Zimmerman was able to use his gun against a guy who was disarmed, invoking the stand your ground law. And I think that's why Eric Holder is up in arms and wants to, change that. So obviously we have to deal with everything in a broad spectrum way, but clearly the 10th Amendment overtakes any and supersedes any federal law regarding this. So I don't know where Eric Holder really is coming from. He doesn't have the authority to change the stand your ground law. He just doesn't. That's good. Leave it. It's all good. The real Barney Stinson. Whoa. Is that really you? Somebody said there was somebody named that's no longer on the internet. Is that really you? Wow. The real Barney Stinson. Interesting. Okay, well, other things that are social issues and wasteful issues. Let's talk about anything that pops up in your mind as a total wasteful problem. Well, let's talk about government waste. Well, that's what I'm referring to. Let's talk about the cost of NOAA. Now, under Obama, he has increased the budget for NOAA to close to $20 billion. Whereas under Bush, the budget for NASA was $20 billion.
Oh, you don't want to broadcast over here?
I'm fine. I'm doing a broadcasting over there. What are you saying?
No, you're not.
Oh, then I need to get back in.
Okay, I'll deal with that.
All right. So Sarah's going to
Anyway,
talk for just a second.
I'm going to actually say thank you all for watching, and please join us on our nightly chat room. Thank you so much.
Yes, thanks everybody. Take care. Enjoy your afternoon and come back tomorrow. Hold on just a second.